Hi, Crosswatchers for Taurus. Welcome to your November, forecast, Crosswatcher edition here. See what's going on with the Taurus in your life. See what you need to know. This reading is done for the viewpoint of the Crosswatcher. So I always ask that the information that's for the best and highest good of all involved to come through. Okay, we're not throwing shade, we're not spilling tea, we're not spying. What Crosswatcher needs to know about Taurus? If you're a Taurus and you're watching, this is still a general reading. It may or may not resonate, or your person may not be on my channel watching videos. So there's that as well. But we're going to see, for those of you drawn to this video here who are curious about a Taurus in your life, what you need to know for the month of November. I'm going old school here, back in the day with this deck, this wonderful discontinued deck, because I feel like it's really good for going into the layers. We have pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. I know the comments are going to go crazy, guys. I see you all in the Taurus comments. I see you all. Some of you have been burnt bad by a Taurus, so much so that you are still watching. You know, you're like watching the Taurus videos and just wanting everyone to know, that Taurus did you wrong. I'm going to say something about Taurus, okay? I'm not a Taurus. I am a Taurus moon. I'm not a Taurus sun. Taurus is like Scorpio in the sense that Taurus doesn't half-ass anything, okay? And unfortunately, if you get a low vibrational Taurus, they can do some damage. But I just want you to know something. Not all Tauruses are that way, okay? They're not all that way. Taurus can be very loyal. Taurus can be very responsible. Taurus can be very loving. Taurus can be generous even. But, if you're dealing with someone who's low vibrational, you're going to get the opposite of those things. So I just want to put that out there, guys. But those of you who are in the comments still angry and still upset because of what you've gone through, you may be seeing this card and you might right off the bat have a whole lot to say. Like, I told you, right? Like some of you are like relishing right now, like feeling victorious. Now, this is a card that's letting you know something is not as it seems, okay? For some of you, you might be seeing red flags where you feel there may be some dishonesty, or maybe you feel like there might be a third party thing going on. And this card is saying, listen to your intuition. Listen to your intuition. For some of you, the shoe is on the other foot, right? If you feel like Taurus is pulling away from you, okay, and if it's not a situation where they don't have something shady going on, they may be seeing things within you that they might be thinking are red flags. And they may start becoming a little bit cautious here with you, or they may be pulling away. Okay, so you, Crosswatcher, ask your angels to come in and help you to see the difference. Like, ask your angels to come in and help you to see, hey, are there red flags here that I need to be looking at, right? Is this Taurus acting distant because they're up to something shady? Or, angels, help me to be honest, help me to be objective, help me to see, is there something that I have done that Taurus might be taking as a red flag? Okay, if you have been keeping secrets from your Taurus, or if your Taurus has been keeping secrets from you, it hasn't come up yet in the cards, but I just kind of feel, for whatever reason, I feel really strongly a lot of secrets are going to be revealed over the months of like November, December, on through January, even on a global scale. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of news stories started coming out about things that have been hidden for a long time, right? Like when that Harvey Weinstein thing came out, people knew about that for years, but nobody was talking about it, right? And all of a sudden the cover got blown off of it. And so that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I feel like the cover is being blown off of things that maybe people have kept hidden for a very long time, okay? So this is not the month for secrets. This is not the season for secrets. And so I do feel that if you feel something might not be right, then you need to listen to your intuition. You need to listen to your gut. Okay, but if you've been keeping something from your Taurus, then understand and know that they got your number. They feel like something is off. You guys might be doing this to each other. You all may be a mirror for one another. You all might be looking at the other one going, I don't know about you. I don't know about you. So let's see what the rest of the reading has to say. Oh, sorry. Taurus, if you're a Taurus and you're watching, don't get mad at me. I really think Spirit wants to talk to the Crosswatchers who have had a bad experience, okay? I have a feeling this video is going to veer towards the people that have had a bad experience with a Taurus, okay? So if you're a Taurus and if you're watching and you're like, that's not fair, we're not all like that, honey, I know you're not all like that. Believe me, I have some friends who are Taurus who are amazing and who are wonderful partners to the people that they're in a relationship with. But I have a feeling this is going to be more for those Tauruses that have been out there just kind of being shady and you know, why some people are in the comments, you know, talking trash about Taurus, okay? So next you have here, let go of control issues, allow the situation to unfold naturally. So I feel like some of you are dealing with a Taurus where there's an issue. There may even be a child, right? And you might kind of feel like, and that's one thing I will say about Taurus, oh my God. And this can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing depending on how you look at it and depending on if you get along with your Taurus or not. Taurus are very, very territorial about their children. They can be very territorial about their kids. And for some of you, there's some kind of tug of war happening here with a child. Okay, there could be some kind of tug of war happening here with a child. And so you might feel like this Taurus is turning the child against you, or Taurus may be accusing you of turning the child against them. There could be some kind of tug of war here with a kid. Not all of you have a child in the mix or in the situation. Overall, there's going to be some situation here where there's some kind of a tug of war. I feel like some of you are upset because you feel like the Taurus is doing things that are causing them to sabotage themselves or like go backwards instead of making progress. And so this card is saying the more you kind of try to get on Taurus and tell Taurus what they need to do, like it's gonna backfire. They're gonna do the opposite, right? It's kind of like that rebellious kid. Like maybe they were going to clean their room, but, you know, mom or dad or grandma or auntie or somebody came in and said, hey, clean your room. It's a mess. They're like, oh, do it later. Leave me alone, you know? Like it's just that energy of I'm not going to do it because you told me to do it. Right? It's that stubborn kind of energy. And it can be going both ways, Crosswatcher. Be honest, right? A lot of the times when we're in a relationship with somebody, you know, sometimes when it's a unhappy relationship, it's because we kind of bring out the worst in each other. So Crosswatcher, the advice for you is even if you are dealing with a Taurus who's going low, you know, don't get pulled into that energy. Don't get pulled into that energy. Don't get into a power struggle. Don't get into a control issue. Okay? For other ones of you that you're like, you know what? No, my Taurus isn't low vibrational at all. My Taurus is great. You know, my Taurus has all the qualities I'm looking for and I'm happy about this relationship and I'm excited to see where this is going to go. This card is cautioning you, Crosswatcher, to be careful that you do not try to push this relationship too far or too fast, okay? It's so funny. Crosswatcher, I'm not saying you're like this, but it just popped up in my head. I don't know if any of you ever watched 90 Day Fiancé. I love that show. It's like, I love that show. And I know it's cheesy, I know it's corny, but I love watching it. But if any of you watch the show with Darcy, oh my God, Darcy and Tom, you guys have to let me know in the comments if you watch with Darcy and Tom. And I'm not talking trash about Darcy, but there's just some moments like they're walking, wow, I feel like I'm walking down the aisle with you, you know, like she'll just say things every so often and you're just like, oh, don't say that, it's too much, right? Like she's not pressuring the guy and saying, hey, when are you going to give me a ring? Or, hey, I don't want to go out with you if you're not going to marry me. She's not saying that. She's not like putting her foot down and being controlling, but she'll say things that it's like, ooh, you know, like it's just kind of, it puts on the pressure, you know. And so some of you need to be cautious of what you're saying or the kinds of questions that you're asking, or if you have a certain timeline in your mind, right? It's a good idea to feel the person out, but they don't want to feel like they're being interrogated either, right? And this might not be a relationship that's going to move in the time frame that you want it to move, right? Like some people say, oh, well, you know what, after 3 dates, you know, it's expected like that you guys are going to do it, or you guys are going to have sex or whatever. I don't know. I know in America a lot of people have that belief, or at least they did for a while. There's no recipe like that, okay? You might say, hey, it's not going to be after 3 dates. You know, it's going to be, you know, once I'm married, like I'm gonna save myself for marriage, or it might be on the first date, it might be on the 5th date, it might be 6 months later, you know. There's no kind of like one recipe or one time frame, you know. You can't say, oh, we've been dating for 1 month, it's time for me to meet your friends. Or it's, if you have some kind of like a time frame or like some kind of little recipe in your head, this isn't gonna work with Taurus, okay? And that's what this card wants you to know. Like if you're dealing with the higher vibrational Taurus and you're like, hey, this person has a lot of great qualities, I really want to see where this is going, this card is just saying go with the flow, my darling. Go with the flow. Don't try to push it. Don't try to force it. Your next card here is Honeymoon. See? So there's gonna be better times coming in. There's going to be better times coming in. So if you do have a Taurus that's wronged you, you know, they're going to be coming in to try to make amends, right? Honeymoon here can indicate wanting to get away, wanting to go on a trip. You know, for some of you, you might be very surprised. You might feel like this Taurus isn't moving things along, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, I'm going to go back home to visit family for Thanksgiving or Christmas, or hey, family's going to be in town or whatever. You know, why don't you join us? There could be something in the sense of taking a trip. It might not have to do with family at all. They just might want to get some time away. You know, they might have some vacation time at work that they want to cash in before the end of the year, and they might be wanting to do something with you. I do feel for some of you this is a trip of making amends, however, especially with that red flag kind of card. And I do feel truths are being revealed, so there might be a truth that's being revealed earlier on in the month, and maybe in the middle of the month, this Taurus is like, baby, 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 please, 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 please. And they're wanting you to give them a chance. And they're maybe wanting to clear the air by, you know, just going away for a little bit and just trying to heal things, trying to get a fresh start with you, trying to remind you of why you loved them in the first place, that they're still that person. Some of you are like, too little, too late, I'm not interested. Like you don't feel it, you're not about it at all. But understand and know this, I feel like, you know, a lot of you are going to have a Taurus that is, you know, wanting to whisk you away. And it may feel very unexpected for some of you. It may feel very, very unexpected for some of you. Now, we're coming into a new moon, right? We're coming into a new moon in Scorpio at the end of October, right? So I feel like something may be happening in the first full moon of November where it might be affecting or impacting Taurus in some way, where they're doing a lot of releasing, okay? And so you may be on their mind. There may be things that they're feeling guilty about. There may be things that they're feeling bad about. And they're maybe wanting to make up for it, right? For some of you, this could even be a surprise proposal. I'm not sure why, but I'm getting that feeling or that sense of like, you know, somebody whisking you away and like, you know, asking you to marry them or wanting to take like this next step with you. And it may be something that you don't quite expect to happen. I'm giggling because I'm looking at what the full moon in November is, and it's called the Beaver Moon. My inner 12-year-old here. The Beaver Moon is nocturnal, working under the light of the full moon. What does that even mean? Okay, so Beaver Moon, I don't know. I'm sure I'll look into this. I'm not an astrologer, and I don't know everything there is to know about the moons, but I feel like it's going to be a doozy for some reason for Taurus. Okay, and they might be thinking about you, and they might be thinking about where their life is going. Crosswatcher, if you're watching, especially if you've had kind of a rocky situation with Taurus, they might be looking at you like you're the one that got away. And I'm looking at something else here. November 12th, 2019 is going to be the full moon. It says a dream come true at the article I'm looking at. So the full moon on Tuesday, November 12th, 2019 at 19 degrees Taurus. So here we are. Yeah, so Taurus is going to be feeling it. Taurus is going to be feeling that full moon in November. And it might be unlocking a lot of the emotions and the feelings that they have for you. Okay, increased emotional strength, subconscious awareness, looking at being more balanced in their personal relationships. So yeah, they're getting serious. So Taurus is going to be opposite Mercury, bringing potential for communication problems. So we have a retrograde that's starting on Halloween. There's going to be some crazy energies that you're going through with Taurus, all right? Some crazy energies you're going through with Taurus, but it looks like they're wanting to work it out, and it looks like this full moon in November is going to be affecting them to where they're wanting to turn over a new leaf and get a fresh start. Whether or not you want to go for it, it's up to you, my darlings. But I do feel like Taurus is going to get a lot more clear about how they feel about you in the month of November around the full moon. Getting to know each other. Getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. Okay, so this is it. You all are getting closer. You all are getting, and it's, I don't know why I looked at this picture, and it's so funny because I was just talking about Darcy and Tom from 90 Day Fiancé, and as I looked at this picture, it made me think of Pride and Prejudice, Mr. Darcy. You know how like she absolutely hates him, but they end up together. So some of you are dealing with a love-hate with your Taurus, right? And your Taurus is like setting their sight on you. I think for some of you, you're like, you already wrote Taurus off, and they're like, I'm going to show you I'm better now. I'm going to show you I changed. Like they're practically begging. They're practically begging for another chance. Those of you that you're dealing with a more high vibrational Taurus, this Taurus is really, really taking steps to show you their value, to show you that like it would be good for you to have them in your life. Like they're trying to demonstrate their value. They're going to really be going out of their way to show you that they're a good catch. I also feel that the Taurus might feel kind of formal to you. Like formal in the sense that like they're really trying to show you respect, or they're trying to show you in a way that they don't like, jump into bed all quick or all fast, or they don't want you to think that that's the only reason why they're around you. So they may be really focusing on conversation, on intellectual connections, and it could just be something that the full moon is bringing out in them where they're looking at themselves and they're like, hey, maybe I've been maybe I've been a little too promiscuous, or maybe I've jumped into the physical stuff too quickly, and I just really want to make sure this relationship works, and I want to make sure that I'm not being too focused on the physical. And so you might feel like in November, you and Taurus aren't doing a whole lot, in the bedroom or in the kitchen or wherever you do your business. You might not be doing a whole lot of it, okay? But they're really trying to demonstrate to you all the reasons why they're going to be a good partner for you. And they're trying not to get too caught up in the heat of the passion. It doesn't mean that it's not there. It's there. They're just trying to be more disciplined. Your next card here is... you guys can't leave each other alone, Crosswatcher. You complain, you say all this mess about how Taurus is so terrible, but you can't even stay away from the videos. And I just feel it's this love-hate. It's this love-hate. You have chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. You all can't leave each other alone. It's like, even like she's mad at, like, she even looks like she's mad at him, right? And he's just like putting his arms around her, and she's like, oh, I hate you, but I miss you. You know, like, there's just like this thing of like, and he's like, oh, I screwed up. I screwed up again. But there's just this thing of, I feel like you all can't leave each other alone. A lot of the times when I see this card, it comes up when you all have a very intense, like centuries and lifetime after lifetime of past lives with this person. You all have been doing this since the beginning of time, and I don't think you can leave each other alone. I really don't. I don't think so, Crosswatcher. Obviously, this is not intended for someone where the Taurus was abusive, like physically abusive or emotionally abusive. You need to leave that alone. You need to get out of that. But just the other stuff, just the love-hate kind of stuff, I just feel like some of you cannot leave this person alone, and they cannot leave you alone, right? Like, you tell yourself never again, and then they show up, and you all just melt for each other. I do feel this time they want you to know it's going to be different, and they're going to do what they can to prove it to you. And I do feel there's improvements. Whether or not the improvements are enough for you to make a life with this person, that's up to you, Crosswatcher. That's up to you, and that depends on what vibration your Taurus is on, right? This is going to be different for different ones of you. But I just think some of you, there's just been this Taurus, and you've been very, like, tempted to write them off several times, and they're making a comeback. They ain't going nowhere. And I don't know how you're going to deal with a Crosswatcher, but I think Taurus is serious, and Taurus wants you to see that, like, they're in this. They want to be in this for the long run. Okay, my dears. The love readings for November are going to be up in the next couple of days, so keep an eye out for those. If you want to watch the Taurus love reading for November, you definitely can. This is more focused on, like, the Crosswatcher's view, like what the Crosswatcher needs to know. The November love readings are going to be more like first person, like the world in, Taurus's eyes, or like how they're experiencing things. This is more just kind of the bird's eye view of like what you need to know. But if you want to watch from their perspective, keep an eye out for the November love readings. And guys, don't forget to watch your weekly forecasts. Please watch your weekly forecasts, because those are very helpful for you, right? I think it's understandable we get curious about other people, but don't forget about yourselves. I thank you so very much for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. If you would like a private reading, go ahead and click on the Calendly link in the description of the video, and you can schedule a private reading there. I'm wishing you a fabulous November, my dears.